choosing to be aware of the action that I was taking, this basic action of walking, choosing to give recognition to that was a way of thanking life and thanking God and enjoying and celebrating the space and the time that I'm privileged to walk in. I thought of it probably when I was walking, that I wanted to study walking, because movement is so important to our understanding, that as we gain information, our mind kind of expands to incorporate what we've learned, but also sometimes sitting in the classroom and normally associated with philosophy is more of a stagnant or boxed in thought process, and our bodies and movement in a physical space is fundamental to living well, I think. And I wondered how could I move and think, and so I wanted to walk. Movement happens physically, mentally, and spiritually. And when I go for a walk, I begin in one attitude and can end up in another. Walking is a context in which life takes place, and it's a good place to live while I ask the questions of how do I live. I wrote that walking is embodied philosophy, and it's a way to live. When I go for walks, I have a space to think. So over the course of my study, I went on morning walks and I just wrote observations, and then thought about them after or during. But so this is from one of my first walks. Telling people about this study, the common response I received: "Oh, philosophy of walking, you're reading Thoreau, right?" Henry David Thoreau embodied his philosophies in walking, and philosophy was a result of his walks. Emerson wrote of him, "The length of his walk uniformly made the length of his writing. If shut up in a house, he did not write at all." Thoreau said that few people were rightly oriented to walk. Walking is a unity of mind, body, and spirit all together moving. He noted that most of the men in town would sometimes like to be eager to walk, but they cannot. No, wealth can buy the requisite leisure, freedom, and independence, which are the capital in this profession of walking. It only comes by the grace of God. It requires a direct dispensation from heaven to become a walker, he said. So, according to Thoreau, not all walkers truly go with the sense of faithful abandon that qualifies an honest walk, which was the noblest of activities. His qualification here is narrow, but hints at walking's potential way to bring about an attitude of freedom, of independence, perhaps a place to receive grace. Thoreau was not exempt from entering a walk on occasion distracted, his mind scattered by societal concerns. He wrote, "I'm alarmed when I have walked a mile into the woods bodily without getting there in spirit. It's just as possible to walk in an attitude of disengagement with the present as it is to be moment by moment embracing its awe and wonder. Either way, you're in a lucrative state for philosophy. Walking is a place of living, and it's a good place to live, while we ask the questions concerning how to live." Philosophies are often rejected because they remain in this idea cloud, untouched by our hands and feet, unpracticed. It is dangerous and selfish to let ideas accumulate in a stagnant space. So much questioning, not carried with us into our daily habits, but designated to the classroom, the library, any particular space, creates a distance between philosophers and their discipline, between any academic and their discipline in their life. Walking is a very real venue that bridges together ideas and physical reality. Walking is a wonderful space in between that is as much or more of a space where life happens than the epiphanies or initial commitments. And it's not just that life happens in between. While walking, on a walk, you engage living by doing something. You are active in the grand movement of life.